What I'd like to do now is record another macro. I'm going to ask you to highlight the cells A15 to A20. And what I'd like to do is record a macro, not by using this button on the Developers tab because we know that button now, but by choosing this button down here on the status bar, which allows you to record macros. If you don't see this button on your status bar, right-click and then left-click Macro Recording so that that button's available on your status bar. So I'll click this button here, which brings up the same window as if I'd hit that button there to record macro. The name of this macro will be Merge Vertical, one word. So again, macros do not like spaces in their names. I'd also like to assign a shortcut key at this point in time, so I'm going to press Shift M, and so that will automatically assign Control Shift M to the macro. The macro is to be stored in this workbook, and I might just put Designed by Cathi and today's date and my email. And then I'll click OK. What I'd like to record doing now is to right-click this group of cells and go Format Cells. I'd like to go to Alignment and I'd like to rotate the text 90 degrees. So I could type 90 in here, or I could drag this diamond up 90 degrees. So I want to rotate the text up 90 degrees and I want to merge the cells. Notice I'm not interacting with any other setting except those two settings, and that's important when we look at the code. So when I click OK, and then I go Stop Recording with this little square down below here, and go to my code, there is my code there, Merge Vertical. The Merge Vertical code has automatically got a comment regarding Designed by me and the shortcut key, and I'm just taking out any excessive apostrophes. And then what it's got is it's got what they call a WEND statement. A WEND statement is a with and an end with statement. And basically what it's doing is it's saying with the selection, set the horizontal alignment to general, the vertical alignment to bottom, wrap the text no, choose the orientation 90 degrees, add an indent no, indent level is 0, shrink to fit no, reading order context, and merge cells true. So even though we only chose merge cells and orientation, it's basically given us all the settings. If I go back and back, it's giving us all the settings that were in this window, even though we only chose orientation and merge cells. That's indicative of a macro. A macro is usually very verbose in its statements. It's very wordy. It writes a lot of unnecessary statements. Now what I'd like to do is get rid of any excess statements. So I'm going back to my code. What I could do is instead of just deleting them, I'm just going to highlight 1, 2, 3, those 3 lines there, and I'm going to turn on my edit toolbar. Now I actually have it already on, so I'm just going to turn it off. In your notes, later in your notes, but I want to do it now, is you can right click the menu bar or the toolbar in your Visual Basic Editor, and you can bring up the edit toolbar, which is what I just had before, and it looks like this. The edit toolbar is really handy because it's got a comment block button. Now if I hit the comment block button, it literally puts an apostrophe in front of the 3 lines I had selected, and if I click away, they naturally went green. I'm going to do the same to these 4 lines here. I want to comment them out. Now why I'm doing that is I'm commenting out those statements, and then I'm going to check that the code still works. And if the code still works, then I will delete them. But if the code doesn't still work after I've commented them out, I need to bring them back, so I'll uncomment them. So that's why we have these buttons here, to comment out 1 or more lines and to uncomment them. Let me just show you how you uncomment, just out of curiosity. So uncomment will take the apostrophes off, and comment will put the apostrophe on. So let's just check that this still works. So I'm going to go back to my Excel file. I'll highlight, say, A25 to A30, and I'll press the key combination Control-Shift-M. Control-Shift-M automatically rotates the text 90 degrees and merges the cells. So the code or the macro is still working even with those statements deactivated. So now I can feel quite happy about deleting these. That can go, delete, and that can go, delete. And I'll just press the delete key and close any gaps. So this illustrates my point about macros being very verbose and very wordy. There was a whole lot of excess statements that we just didn't need there. And I can tell usually when something's been done with a macro and when something's been done by writing.